Now today's video for you is how to work with some brand new watercolour paints. Brand new. These are Paul Rubens paints. So very vivid, or they class them as neon colours. But whilst I'm chatting on and off about them, I'm going to do this painting of this lovely Kelly's Lily. So I think we'd better get those brushes wet, don't you? Let's get started. Okay, let's make a start, and I've drawn on this sparkling paper, and it's not too bad. I think the pencil's taken okay on that. But you can see it's got a bit of a kind of shine on that. It's quite thick as well. So it's a 300 GSM, £140 paper, and I think that should just about do. Okay, colour-wise. Now, we know we've got quite an array of colours there, as you can see. Quite a lot of different colours there. Wow, they are really bright, aren't they? So I need to think about the colours for the petals of this little flower here. Now, I've never used this paper before, so it'll be quite interesting to see how well it goes. Okay, colour-wise, I'm going to go probably for a little bit of opera yellow. Now, bearing in mind all the colours begin with the word opera for some reason or other. So we'll just call it yellow, shall we? All right, so we'll start off with opera yellow or yellow. Let's put that into my ceramic dish. How much do I want? You don't want too much of this, it's quite strong actually. And these are 5ml tubes, so they're quite small to be honest. A little bit fiddly on the lids with large hands like this. Then I go for little bits of the opera red, which is that really bright one there. Don't think it's immensely bright, but it's got quite a lot of colour to it. So we'll try that one. Okay, when you first open these tubes, I've already opened these through the tester sheet, you have to pierce them with a little thing on the back there. Just like we have to do with some toothpaste tubes, I know. Okay, put that one back in. I'm going to mix those two together. This will be very interesting to see how well this works, won't it? Really well. And that's our mid-tone colour, which we're going to zap in between the colours on there. What's going to be interesting with all these colours as well is how well they actually mix. So that will be very, very interesting to find out. A new brush. I'm going to use my old brushes as well. And obviously new paints. I'm going to use the Paul Rubens Esprit 818 size 4 brush. It's quite big, isn't it? It's a little bit too big for this painting, but I'm going to just use it for the basic washes anyway. Then I'm going to switch to my size 4, which is a Rosemary & Co, and then probably even a size 00. So the first thing I want to do is wet one of the petals. I have found so far with this, when I first apply the water on there, the water tends to lay on the top of the paper for quite some time. So you do have to encourage it to go into the surface a little bit more. And then go for your opera yellow. And we'll drop that in. Look how bright that is. Oh, that's really bright. Again, these are all complete unknown paints, unknown colours. And these paints are very vibrant, aren't they? That's the idea behind them as well. So they really stand out. I don't think they actually glow in the dark, but they do stand out. Trying the colours on different papers, so black paper compared to white paper, and you find on white paper it looks very similar to normal watercolour, but yet on black paper can give more of a sort of a day glow effect, or sort of a fluorescent feel to it. Then we go for our mixture, okay, with the opera red and the yellow. So we can mix that in to make more of an orange feel to it. That's looking a little bit better now. Just tones that bright yellow down a bit. You'll be able to wear them as a high-vis jacket, won't you, for this colour? And then a little bit more. More to the lower section, really. And then just hint a little bit more towards the top there. So just dullens it down a fraction. Yeah, that is really bright. Okay. That will do for the first wash of colour. Now I need to give this a dry, but I'm going to do the same with all the other petals as well. Then bring the colour up, creating those lines as well. And I really want to try and soften this down, so again it'd be a good test on the paper and the paints and see how well it works. Currently, at the time of recording this video, the paints cost around £20, so they're not really expensive, are they? So ideal for a beginner's kit, or for somebody if you want to paint with those really bright colours. And then to there as well. Okay, now a very light soften. Just with a damp, clean brush over the top. Still maintain these lines that we can see there. If you feel it's not bright enough, get some more of the yellow opera yellow. And then add that in as well, down towards the bottom. Now you can see what by doing this, the paint's starting to lift down there. So you think, oh no, that means I'm going to have to put some more of this other colour in there as well. Just kind of make up the difference. So it's going to be a bit touch and go on trying to blend the paints, I think. But they do blend reasonably well. But they can also go a little bit streaky is what I've found so far. Okay, I need a little bit of green now. And that's because when you look at the section here, starts off green and gradually goes yellow. Just initially, okay. So, opera blue, I'll have a little bit of that out there. Drop that there. We don't need a lot of that because it's going to really make a difference when we start adding the yellow to that. Okay, a little bit of water, puddle of water down there. So we've got something to work with. And then mix those two together gradually. God, that's a bright green, isn't it? I know, very bright green. Okay, start off with a yellow. And we'll drop that one in first of all. Oh dear, that's so bright, isn't it? Oh. I'm going to put a little bit of red in there. Just make it a little bit more orangey. Oh dear. I know. I don't mind it. It's quite a nice bright yellow colour, but it is bright. I'm going to drop the green in around here first. Now don't forget to click on that like button and also subscribe as well. At least that way around. When I do put a new video on here, you're less likely to miss it. We have to remember that these colours are vibrant. They really are. Extremely bright colours. Okay. I want to make up some brown. Because as we know, within our colour card, we haven't got any brown mixes, have we? Nothing like that in there. Okay, so we've got some green. I'm going to bring that down to here. Drop a little bit of red in there to brown it slightly. Too much. Grab some more of the green. There you go. Now we've got a small amount of brown paint there. Now what we can do, we can use this colour just to very lightly go along the edges. If it's too much, we can water it down. This will be a test really with these paints. How watery can you go with them? You can imagine something like a really bright coloured bird, like a hummingbird or something like that. So if you really want some of them kind of iridescent feathers and feel to those feathers, then maybe it might be worth trying to add some of these colours into your usual watercolour mix and just see what happens. Why not? Give it a try. Just knock it back quite a bit now. Gives more of a curve to that petal as well. Now for a little bit of fine tuning. Here we go, ready? Now for fine tuning this, we've got to really think about our darkest colour. Now the darker colour obviously on the green is going to be a dark green, like a black green really. Now I don't have any blacks within my colour collection here for all these little 5ml tubes, okay, so there's no black in there whatsoever. But we can make our own black, and we know we can make black from red, yellow and blue. So I'm going to go for some blue first of all, and this is the ultramarine blue. Paul Rubens, of course. And that we know is fairly bright. And that particular one, by the way, is this one here. So you know which one it is. They need a fairly dark red, so I'll probably stick with the same red of opera red, because that's the darkest one in the bunch at the moment. Now, if you find it still splurts out like that, what you can do, if you squeeze the side of the tube very lightly, you'll suck it back in like that, look. See that? So if you do find it does that, just give it a light squeeze on the lower part of the tube like so to squeeze it back in. Doesn't always work, but when it does, you think, yay, that works. Now we've only got the one yellow. We know that one, which is the opera yellow. So we'll have that one as well. Oops, see how that splurts out straight away? That's because it's a brand new tube, so it's going to come out very quickly indeed. Alright, it's all about getting the mix right with this now. So a little bit of blue, a little bit of red, and we get ourselves a purple. A little bit of yellow, and that dullens that purple down to a dark colour. As you can see already, that's, well, pretty black, isn't it? It really is. Let's give that a quick test look. Look at that. That's like a bluey black. So you add a little bit more red in there to kind of warm it slightly so you've got more of a rich black. Something like that should do it. We'll get that one a try, shall we? And that'll be for the darkest layers when we get to those stages, which isn't that far away. So I'm going to switch to my size 00 brush. This particular one, by the way, as of interest, is a Winsor & Newton, and it's a Cotsman Series 111, and it's actually my favourite brush. So a damp clean brush, take it for some kitchen roll, just the once like that, so it's still damp but not soaking wet. I can use that to add some very fine lines within the paint. Now this will be quite interesting to see how well the paint comes off as well, because I'm not entirely sure with this. It's all brand spanking new, remember. Oh no, it's coming off, as you can see there. Look, I've just created another line, just this one here. Can lightly blend if it's too much. This is a little bit too defined down here, so I'm going to soften this area down there. We need to do the same thing for the rest of the petals now, and then we can add the darkest layer in. And all I'm doing is just darkening down now some of the areas underneath. Remember, this is in the shadow down there, isn't it? Now these beautiful bell-shaped flowers are very often pollinated by swallowtail butterflies, would you believe? And they are common to Sierra Nevada of California. Something like that. And use a small amount of black within this area just to show them kind of deep recesses underneath. Very, very small amount, because it's not that dark in there. Just to kind of add that extra shape really is what I'm looking for. A little bit there, and if it's too much we can lightly blend it. Again, I found the blending not that easy to do with these paints, so I think it's going to vary whatever you do with them. And it's like any new material or new medium that you use, you have to get used to it. So I'm not blaming the materials at all, I'm just blaming my lack of use, my lack of knowledge when it comes down to using something as new as these paints. And the paper, of course. Now it's 300 GSM, or about £140, and the sheets they've given me measure 13.5 centimetres by 19.5 centimetres. And for 40 sheets they currently retail around about £18. But yes, as you can see, they're very, very sparkly. So it is cotton pulp when they add that sparkling mineral during the process of manufacturing the paper. And also you can paint on either side of the sheet of paper as well, which is a big benefit because some of the papers that we tend to buy, you can only paint on one side, can't you? Now let's put some dots on those little areas, shall we? And do that for everywhere that you can see these dots. You'd have to get every single one in the right place. Okay, doesn't really matter. We carry on with the green doing the same thing, so another layer over the top. Make sure the green isn't too bright. Because again, this is really bright, isn't it? So we've got the blue, we've got the yellow. Make your green colour up like that. Then add a small amount of red in there just to brown it slightly. I have found reactivating the colours not quite as easy on my palette here. This is a ceramic palette, as you can hear. So it's quite a good palette to use. So worth noting, I think, on there. Now with the green, we've got these sections coming down here, and that changes to yellow as it goes down, so I'll blend that slightly. Look how dry it's getting so far. It does seem to dry really quickly, this paint. Now if you do fancy learning how to paint wildlife, have a look at my link down below to my Patreon website, where I've currently got over 130 videos on how to paint wildlife and also flowers in watercolour. Clean, damp brush, okay? Clean, damp brush. And I'm going to soften down that area and blend it in. So I'm going to put the water just above, like that. And very lightly, just touch the top edge of this darker green. A gentle blend going into the rest of that water there. There you go. Obviously, if you allow the water to settle, to kind of soak into the paper a little bit, then you find that won't spread quite as far. But I think that's about right, that. I quite like that. Then carry on working your way down the stem, using the same technique we used for the top part of the stem, adding that dark colour in for the green, and work your way down. Okay, let's go for the stamens and the anthers and try and work out what colours we need for those. Now we know we've already got the same green, so we can add the same green in there first of all. Okay, let's get those on first. So I'm going to drop a bit of colour in there. And as before, once this is dried, I'll darken down the sides just like we've done on the main stem, just to finalise the stamens themselves. And then once they're done, we can work on the anthers. Yeah. Now I have to say that with this particular painting and these paints and paper, I can't seem to achieve the sort of detail I would normally achieve. And that's because of the lack of flow of paint. I'm having difficulty trying to get the paint to flow on the paper. It's just something that I'm obviously not used to using. And it's good to try different ideas out, different papers out, different materials every now and then. Because you might find something you actually like. You know, and I will probably use these paints with some other paintings on occasions as well, where I want a really, really bright colour. Because that's what they're made for, isn't it? For the vividness of the pigments, of which they class them as being neon on their Amazon listing. Oh, have a look at the link down below, you find it. Okay, well that will do for those. Now, let's work on the anthers. Let's go for the yellow. And we'll drop that one in first. Is that the right colour? No, of course not. So a bit of yellow, and we'll start adding the colours into that. So grab some red, okay? A little bit of red. It's all drying up in my palette there. Make it orange. Then drop that in. And that yellow that's already on the paper will mix with this orange to lighten it slightly. Yes, you can mix the colour straight away if you decide to do so. I like to play with the colours on the paper sometimes and see what they can do. There you go. Right. Now, I need more of a deep red, like a reddy black. So remember our black colour down here? I'm going to add that in. There we go, that should do. Tap some off. Then we can use this around the edges as well. Start to build up some detail within these little anthers. And that's one anther done. So I've got to do the same with the other ones. So if you've used these paints, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be quite interested to find out actually and see what you think of these Paul Rubin paints. Now I've made a little video on working with gouache. Have a look at the link to the top right, okay? Give it a go. I'll see you there. Do you have a favourite wildflower? If you do, let me know. You never know, I might one day paint it.